Streets of Rogue 2 is the sequel to the first game, of course, but it's basically a different beast. The original was a roguelite where you went through levels, died and started over. This one essentially ditches that completely and becomes an open world game with a persistent world where your character actually gets stronger instead of resetting. The games still got that sandbox spirit where you solve problems however you want, but the whole structure is different, which is also why it takes so incredibly long to make for what's essentially a solo developer. Now, this game's setup is simple. You arrive on a procedurally generated island country with cities, towns, forests and rivers. But the thing is, it's not purely random, because the developer uses these things called chunks, which are like handcrafted pieces like building interiors, parks and intersections. The game then arranges these chunks procedurally, so you get the random generation without it looking terrible. A guy named Clay, who also made content for the first game, has created thousands of these chunks. The world is divided into regions. Regions are made of chunks, and chunks are made of tiles. Regions can be as small as 4x4 chunks, or as big as 16x16, and the individual chunks vary in size too. The progression system works with tiers, like levels in an RPG. You and the world scale together. Each region has a difficulty range, say for example tier 5 to 10. If you walk in it at tier 3, then the region locks to tier 5, making it tough. If you show up at tier 7, it locks around there for an appropriate challenge. If you come in overpowered, then it caps out so you breeze through. Keep in mind that this system is still being tested. The world changes based on your actions too. Random events happen, the factions shift, mayors lose power, and all that affects region difficulty. Character classes got more focused. In the first game, a hacker could hack, but also fight decently. Now, if you pick a weak character, then you supposedly really need to play that way. You do get more ways to improve specific skills and new abilities though. This works through augmentation. Your main goal is becoming president, but you can't just challenge them directly. Each city has a mayor who's basically a dungeon boss. Their offices are multi-floor dungeons with different mayor types. For example, a cultist mayor who does podcasts, a cannibal mayor, stuff like that. Each has unique dialogue and quests, and you can take them down or win them over. Defeating these mayors gives you influence needed to eventually go after the president. The developer mentioned that other win conditions will probably be added later. The game has cars with different control schemes, and animals exist too. You can recruit them somehow. Beyond mayor offices, dungeons are a big part of things. There are caves, cannibal hideouts, basements and more. Some are handcrafted multi-floor affairs. Others are procedurally generated from smaller chunks, though those procedural ones got pushed to after early access. The game has building and crafting, but it's not mandatory. You can claim land, chop trees, build a house, or just buy one or sleep in hotels. The same goes with crafting. Many craftable items can be bought or stolen. The survival elements are light by default, but can be made harder with mutators. Farming is confirmed. Fishing is a maybe. The death penalty is still being figured out. Running across the map to get your stuff back doesn't sound fun in an open world, so they are finding a balance that keeps tension without being too harsh. Again, mutators will let people adjust this. Food and cooking are in. You make meals at stoves, using ingredients, and different foods give different effects. Steam Deck will probably be playable status. The multiplayer supports 4 players locally and online, possibly more later. The level editor with workshop support will come eventually, but might not be there at early access launch. This whole thing is basically being made by just one guy, Matt Dabrowski, who does all programming and design. Most of the art is by Thomas Feichtmeier, with some help on cars and other stuff. Megan McDuffie is doing the music, and Clay Dickinson is designing all the chunks. Now the bad news, the game has been delayed multiple times. It was supposed to come out in 2024, then 2025, and now it's just to be determined. The developer is very transparent and honest about why, and it's a simple reason. He's one person doing massive amounts of work and kept underestimating time. Very big chunks of development got eaten by unglamorous technical work, like rewriting the tile mapping system. The plan is early access when the game properly represents the final version, even with missing content and bugs. The developer mentions he learned from the first game that you need solid systems before opening up to players. The shift from roguelite to open world is major, and if they pull it off while keeping that sandbox flexibility, then this could be very interesting. And this sentence concludes today's video. If your time was respected, a like or comment is very much appreciated.